a big warm welcome to the Body Love Revolution Online Summit. Today, I have the honor and privilege of talking to not only a peer and a mentor, but a dear friend. So today I have the beautiful Madonna the Goddess here with me. And before you ask, yes, Madonna is her real name. She doesn't have a stage name. Madonna is her name.
Do people ask you that?
Yeah, they do.
Hi, thank you for having me. Did you tell them that there's actually two Madonnas in our family, and one of them isn't even blood related to me? Like when married, my cousin married a Madonna. So it's just wild that, and we're both blonde.
I know, which is unbelievable because people always go, is that really her name? And I go, yes, that is her name. So
It was a weird, yeah, for sure. And I grew up in the era of Madonna, so for
you did.
sure, yeah.
I know. So I do want to just let the guests know that you are a body positive queen. You are a curvy model and you empower women through photography with your boudoir photography, and also travel and adventure is high on your values list, so much so that you travel with women around the world running beautiful retreats, self-care and body confidence retreats. And I must say, I'm absolutely delighted you're coming to Australia in July and you and I are co-hosting an embody confidence retreat. So
Oh,
excited.
just beautiful.
So
It's going to be
excited.
such a beautiful event. Honestly, the time that we have there, I just envision such a lush grandeur of like lavishing yourself while you're there, and sisterhood and laughter and just a lot of joy building. A lot of joy building. Yeah. So really looking forward to that time together in
And
that
I'm gonna
space.
and I'm also going to share the next retreat. We have two plans. So we have the one in July this year,
Shoot
2024.
it.
And then, drum roll, we have Bali. So we're doing,
Yay!
and then we're doing Bali together in
Mm.
February 2025. So literally almost 1 year to the day from now.
It is. It literally is. And we're going to need that long to plan how many spa treatments that we have for these, how many spa treatments we want to get. But no, truly, like it feels like that is so far away when you hear a year to most people. They're very intimidated, like, oh, a year, I want it to be sooner. It's astounding how fast a year can go in your life. I mean, think about where you were a year ago. And like, what if you had a trip planned already? I mean, it's just the coolest thing to invest in yourself. And what I tell ladies is, start making your payments towards your trip, right? And then you're already there. Like you already see yourself there, you're already envisioning it. Get your ticket about 6 months before and then just get all ready. Like you can start planning and plotting and getting excited, getting your cute little outfits aside. And it's just a beautiful way to invest in yourself and to tell yourself that you're worthy and to just lavish that goddess attention on you. This is a real goddess retreat, the Bali retreat. Yeah. I mean, this one is like you get to swing on the beautiful swing covered in flowers and out over the canopies of rainforest. You get to play with the monkeys, and I heard they're very mischievous in the
Yeah.
rainforest. So, like, it's not what you envision. But we'll go to Tetra and Pole as well and do the water ritual. And yeah, lots of magic planned for the ladies on that excursion. That is just sure to be full of on my end, that is almost full. I think I have one spot left at this point. So
I
so we're gonna be a full house.
So
Yeah.
tremendous. So, my darling Madonna, on this online summit, and like I mentioned, you have been an incredible mentor of mine and also such an advocate for this whole movement of body love. And yes, it is a revolution. And I love your take on things and your story. Are you happy to share with everyone how you started your career as a model and today how you work? Let us know.
Yeah, so I originally, honestly, I'm the daughter of a military pilot. Mom is an Australian, and my dad was an American Savage pilot, and he met my mom during Vietnam War. And so I grew up in a house pretty traditional, and wanted to go on to college, and thought I would go on to be actually a helicopter pilot. My dad was a pilot, and so I thought I would go on to fly and ended up falling in love with a man like right out of high school. and decided to stay kind of grounded in the area and got my college degree from a local school. Didn't end up going on to fly, but right out of high school, in fact, my parents had to sign my modeling contract. At 17 years old, I was working for like a pancake house here. It's called IHOP we have here.
Mm.
And I was asked to come to like a modeling event, which was really a cattle call of women like in the area, but I had already kind of been pre-screened, so I got to go straight through and meet agencies. And so charismatically, like my local agency here in Seattle chose me and signed me at that event. And it's, as you know, in the modeling world, like to sign a contract is extremely hard, and it's a
Mm.
very, very competitive world. So I immediately, as soon as I signed the contract, was told that I needed to lose 15 pounds. It was like almost as soon as I signed, what are you going to do to get those extra 15 pounds off? And I'm just going to tell you that, like, I'm a girl that even in my fittest form, and I don't even like using that term because everybody has different levels. But for me, maybe my most healthy fitness routine, in my regime, in my moment, I am still a girl that packs a booty and, and has some curves, right? So I always presented as somebody that maybe could lose a few extra pounds, especially in the era of the 90s where it was flat asses.
Yeah.
And there's not, all bodies are different, but for me, coming from a bouncy round booty, and the standard being this flatter, longer shelf bottom in the modeling industry, I didn't fit the mold. I didn't fit anything that was standard. I didn't fit anything that was normal. I guess my face fit is what I fit, but outside of that, the agency was constantly adjusting the way I looked. So shortly after I signed my contract, I'd say like 2 or 3 months, they were introducing a new sector in the modeling agency, and it was plus size modeling, which now is like a whole industry. And the time, it
Mm.
was brand new. They were only using girls size 10 to 12. I mean, this is me at 18 years, 17 to 18 years old. So I was very small. I would say a size 10 is where I started modeling in plus size industry.
Wow.
And I'm just going to tell you, from the moment I did made that decision, I was happier than I'd ever been in modeling. It had been a struggle from the moment I started. Really, like, was a continuation, which we know in spirituality happens, a continuation of my ice skating career. I'd been a competitive ice skater since I was a young girl.
Mm.
And having these curves was limiting in the ice skating world. It's a very petite oriented sport, we'll say.
Yeah.
I was competing against girls 5, 6 inches shorter than me, and at least 30, 40 pounds lighter. So there was definitely a judging, a beauty standard criterion I didn't fit in, which
Yeah.
is continued on to modeling. So we work out these patterns in our life, right? So I was so grateful to go into plus size modeling, and plus size modeling immediately afforded me a lot of work and a lot of experience in the modeling world. So thankful to Emmy, who was the first plus size supermodel. And I don't know if anybody would remember her, but you actually look a lot like Emmy. You should look her up. Her name's Emmy, Emme. She was the first American plus size supermodel, and she's my hero because she entered a world that did not accept her and did not love her initially. So
Yeah.
a tremendous woman, and she paved the way for all of us plus size models. So did that immediately. Worked in my modeling career fairly fluidly. My biggest account being Nordstrom Corporation at the time, which is a very beautiful, large department store here in the United States. So I worked a lot for them. And just fluidly worked, but then I had my children and I took a hiatus, took a step back. I ended up going into makeup artistry for a number of years, makeup artistry and styling, because I didn't have to work such long hours and I could actually have my children on set and nurse. And so did that for a while. And then after a magical opening and regaining my personal power and confidence, I stepped back into my career at about 40 years old.
Mm.
So took a break of about 10 years and stepped back in at about 40. And a few years worked, and then the industry shut down for the pandemic, and runways shut down. So did print. Everything shut down. And a lot of us were really recommended to go into influencing, to get online and to make a presence of ourselves and to influence. Well, I immediately found fun in videos and connecting with my audience through movement and dance and fun videos with confidence building and just allowing women to see a woman confident and in love with herself at a fuller size, right? At a larger size than maybe they're used to seeing. That was really a catalyst in the body positive movement was TikTok and a lot of the confidence building videos, seeing women dancing, seeing women in clothing that was flattering and attractive, maybe out of the beauty standard norm in that time. Gosh, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking so much, but
It's wonderful.
but
No,
yeah.
this is
Okay,
wonderful,
good.
Madonna. Yes,
Good. Good.
brilliant.
Yeah, so I stepped into that and I immediately found success. Immediately found success. I immediately also found trolls and I immediately also found a lot of shadow work that I needed to do on myself. And a lot of the things, beliefs that I still held about myself were being reiterated in comments for people visiting my page and following my account. So the first few years was really working through a lot of shadow work and being able to accept the good and the bad because everybody gets to have a feeling and opinion, and they certainly do. So we just let them have it. But I will say that after a lot of personal reflection and work on myself, I'm about 4.5 years into influencing, and I just really don't get a lot of you've seen my account. I don't get a lot of negativity. We get a lot of flirty boys comments on if you have, attractive photos online, unfortunately. But for the most part, none of the comments that I receive are of a negative nature, anything that's cast aspersions. So I always say that that's a lovely reflection on the work I've done inside. That I don't feel that way about myself, so I certainly don't garner that kind of, garner that kind of comment. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So at this point, I'll be honest with you. Let me also say, so as well, amidst my career of modeling, I decided in my spirituality, where I had delved into like sisterhood circles and moon circles, that I wanted to offer a deeper form of support to the women that I was, in connection with. And so I started life coaching. And when I started doing that, I said, well, how can I weave life coaching in with, the travel that I want to do in my life? Because I'll be honest with you, Emma, travel for me is the place that I found the most expansion for myself.
Mm.
So I started weaving in travel adventures and I worked for somebody else for a number of years. And then I started offering my own. And now I've elevated the experience to include photography, to include, the wild travel adventure, and kind of your own modeling experience, I'd say to some degree. You get a spiritual opening, you get sisterhood, you get a modeling experience, you get this wild travel adventure. And that and influencing really encompass my modeling career now. So that's
Yeah.
where I started to where I am now.
And it is so wonderful. I had the pleasure of being at your beautiful women's retreat in Byron Bay last year, and it was just phenomenal. The work you do with women and your travel. And I love how you say in your travel is the expansion. I know that you've shared with me in the past around this body love, body positivity, body acceptance journey. Purely going to other countries and seeing how other cultures celebrate women's beautiful bodies is incredibly empowering. And you and I have had quite a few conversations about this, how Australia is incredibly harsh on the Western woman, white woman's body. Although, yes, we have
Sorry,
lots.
Australia. Yes,
Yes, it
yes.
is. Look, we know that yes, we are incredibly blessed and live a very privileged life here in Australia, but it also comes with, being a woman in a white body, white, beautiful body, the privilege, but it also comes with a very harsh terrain of how you are supposed to show up. So would love for you to explain your take on body confidence and body acceptance. What do you think? What really is body confidence?
So for me, body confidence really is the grace we give ourselves to be ourselves. It's so simple. It's really the confidence in who we are, our personal essence, in the way we shine in the world. It's loving ourselves exactly how we are and presenting ourselves with grace. Like honestly, grace is such a beautiful thing to give each other space to be ourselves. How magical, right?
Mm.
When somebody comes to you and they say, I'm so sorry, I'm hurrying, I'm 5 minutes late, I'm not going to make it. And you say gently to them, take your time, like take a deep breath, like prepare yourself. It's all right. You know in your heart that's a person that is 5 minutes late. You're probably prepared. It's me. No, I'm just joking. But you know what I'm saying. It's honestly that grace you give somebody to be themselves. Extend that back to yourself. Body confidence, the confidence in who you are. It's your personal power. It's your personal essence. Love yourself. Be confident in who you are and the way you present yourself to the world. And having confidence in our body, it's telling ourselves you're worthy of all the things you want to create. Your body is strong and powerful, and your body is more than just a vessel. It's a spirit. It's a way that you walk through the world. It's encompasses it all, right? It's an essence.
Mm. It is
Yeah.
an
Body
essence.
confidence is everything. Yeah. I love body
Yeah.
confidence.
And body confidence is also an expression of your creativity. You know, the way
Mm.
that you dress it and move through the world. It's an expression of who you are. And if we're rejecting our bodies and rejecting that, like you say, we're cutting off our own essence. We're also squelching our creativity. We're not allowing ourselves to living our day fully at all. And
Mm.
this is where the beautiful work is. And I know I have benefited from being in your company and other women's company who practice this, who practice body confidence. So even that, Madonna, how would you describe you moving through the world? How do you practice your body confidence in your life?
Oh, a body confidence for me is it encompasses every facet of my life. It's the way that I adorn myself, the way I dress myself, the way that I care for my body, the way that I take care of its personal needs, and the ways that maybe I differ from other people. I'm still conscious of and loving of, the differences in myself. One of the things that I work with in my life coaching practice is imposter syndrome. And a lot of women believe like if they have something they want to create, that this, I'm sure you work with this all the time. But they want to create something and they're terrified to bring it to the world because that everybody else does it, right? And it's such a way that we believe, but we don't. If I could just say to that person, you're such a complex code of so many things, it doesn't just break down to you doing the same thing as her. You came with this personal coding, this personal essence that you're sharing with the world, and she came just to find you. And if you're not doing that thing that you came to do, she's not going to open up in that way she was supposed to open up at this moment when you guys met up on the path. So who the fuck cares if there's 18 girls doing it, if there's a million girls doing it? She needs you. She needs your essence. So if I don't share my essence and confidence, if I don't walk through the world adorned as I am, as I feel inside as a goddess, I really have created and cultivated within myself. Cultivated, let's say, because she was already there. It was just finding her and unearthing her.
Yeah.
So really that body confidence is so freaking important if you want to share your essence with the world, because I don't believe you can manifest or be like successful in a lasting, sustainable way unless you really are yourself in every way. If you let all the shells shed, if you let all those layers shed off. And I believe there's different, we have different iterations of ourselves in our lifetime, right? Like maybe we're 50% there when we create something. Maybe next time we're going to be 75% to that full essence of ourselves. And maybe we're like I feel right now, which is that I don't care anymore and I'm my full essence all the time. 100% it's on. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, this is the level I was meant to create, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, there's a different, but if you're not standing in confidence, if you don't wear the things that light you up, if you don't, and I'm telling you, if you have the confidence to wear the things that light you up, and I'm serious, that's hard. Fashion is hard. Wearing things that I know you understand. It's when you want to wear that new pair of pants or that thing that doesn't fit you the same way as every other pant that you've worn, right? It's like you have to say, okay, I just want to feel beautiful. I want to step into my power. I want to wear something that's expressive of me today. And I say this to myself all the time. If I feel beautiful in something, it's super important to say to yourself, it's okay that it doesn't make me look my most slender or thin. These are things I grew up with. It's
Yeah.
okay if you just love it and the way that it makes you feel and look when you're wearing it. That's okay,
Yeah. I
right?
love
Because
that, Madonna. I love that.
okay. Yeah. Mom probably wouldn't like, the amount of cleavage I'm sharing right now. But the
Yeah.
truth is, I love my beautiful body. I love my curves. I love my feminine softness. And it's part of what helps people find me and connect with me in the world. It's part
Yeah.
of my feminine essence. It really
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
if it's something that triggers other people, the way we present ourselves in confidence, it always is a chance for that person to look a little bit more introspectively. Why is it triggering me? What do I want to do that this person's empowered to do? And how can I be inspired to empower myself as well?
Yeah, it is a gift. It is a
Yeah.
gift when you do feel irritated or triggered or want to judge that person, because it's not about the person. You change the name, make them nameless. It's more what that's doing to you. You can either resist it or activate it. That's the choice
Mm,
we have, isn't
hmm
it? Really, we can say,
a
this is a
100%.
calling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a chance to like dig a little deeper. And when I was younger, I would be triggered in return by seeing somebody's trigger. I would want to get smaller, shrink down, change the way I dress, change my appearance, so I don't make other people feel uncomfortable. But now, as I'm an evolved version of myself, I understand that that's other people's work to do in the world, how they perceive the way you present yourself. It's up to each of us how we want to present ourselves to the world. And as long as we're not doing something offensive or hurting other people, it's absolutely our right. So, like I said, I don't interact with other people's opinions of me, if that makes sense. I really don't.
I think
Yeah,
you made a great point that even with your social presence, you really don't get that much kickback or flow, because when you radiate that confidence and you are certain in yourself, you just don't attract that or draw it in, because there's no shakiness. Because an experience, when you're a little bit shaky or you're not quite on your footing, sometimes you can get a little bit of backlash, and that's also part of the process too. It is part
yeah,
of the
for sure,
process. We don't just step in and we're all cool. We've got to dip our toe in the water and find push our own little boundaries in a lot of ways.
for
Madonna,
sure. Yeah.
if if you were to give a tip to our ladies who are listening, let's say that they are not feeling overly confident in their body, or they're really struggling to accept the body that they're in, because that can happen. We can swing on that pendulum. What would you
Oh, yeah.
say is a first step for them, just to start to invite in perhaps a little bit of body acceptance or body confidence? What would you say could be a first step?
So this one for me is so easy, and it's self-love. It's learn like It's honestly, Emma, the same thing if a client tells me that they're not having a lot of desire to have an interaction with their partner or to connect sexually, whatever. They
Mm.
say, I just don't feel it. I'm not excited. I'm not. It's the same things that I would tell somebody in body positivity. Start getting in touch with yourself. Start learning about your body. And that can start as simple as, for a lot of people, it's super uncomfortable to start loving yourself, touching yourself, looking at yourself. So the very easiest way is to apply self-love, meaning self-love practices such as a coconut and flower petal milk bath, right? Like a beautiful bath to tell yourself the things that you want to release and also replenish with that beautiful milk and flower petals, something like that, as well as a massage or a pedicure, or lavishing yourself with a hair wash or something lovely that tells yourself how much you love yourself. Because as you tell yourself through this self affinity, right, these applied practices in love to yourself, as you tell yourself, as you do these things, it just builds that self confidence, that self love, that self care, tells you how much you care about yourself, and moves that into self love, which then moves into confidence. Which then moves into really positive inertia in your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
And you
it's
can't.
presenting yourself with clothes you love, all the things, right? Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, honey.
No, no. And
Yeah.
I always often say that you can't give away what you don't have. So if you don't have that respect might be too strong a word, but that self-confidence or self-acceptance of yourself, you can't be in the present moment. Speaking from my own experience, at times when I've not felt my confidence or I just have been rejecting myself, I'm not present. It almost steals, and then that really messes with the connection with your significant other or any relationship, because it takes up so much time and energy this rejection or feeling dissatisfied with yourself. So I understand what you're saying. Find something that helps just bridge that gap so you can actually start to appreciate and exactly that, even that, if you think your nails are your favorite part of your body, go and have your nails done. Make them as beautiful as you can be. So then when you look down at your nails, you love your nails or whatever it might be. But we have to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and you did a beautiful presentation at my retreat in the summer in Byron about this. But basically, the essence that I took out of it, and there's so much more to it. You're like, Madonna, you're boiling it down to this. But I think it was five sectors we had to rate in our life. Was that right? Five?
Eight,
Um,
eight.
eight. Okay, I'm sorry. See, who's the serious one in this friendship? Anyways, eight, eight sectors we had to rate. And what I thought was so cool was when you said to me, you said, well, I said, strangely, I would have thought, not that I would have thought my health was like, like, because I wasn't being proactive with much, but I didn't expect it to be where it was. And you said to me, well, listen, if you focus on that health thing for a few months, would you be surprised if I told you you're going to go up a point? Because we had to rate it by points,
Yeah.
right? And which was great. This was such a beautiful practice. And you said, would you be surprised if I told you you're going to go up a point and now you're like, give me in your career, you're going to go up a point there. You're going to go up a point in every other sector. You're going to go up a point because you worked on that thing. So I really believe like if we make this positive intention, we do this positive work, it just spills over into our life. Help
Yeah.
refocus me because I just went off
No, you're
that
absolutely
practice.
right.
But
No,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly right. When we are in that place of self-rejection or non-acceptance of where we're at, right now in this moment, we can't change that. If we are longing to be in a smaller body, if we are longing to have longer hair, if we want whatever it is, and we're not there right now, sometimes if we focus on another area of our life, it will create more self-care and self-respect or
yes,
self-confidence. Because when we fixate on it, it can, like I said, it just steals us from the moment. We kind of miss out. It can be all consuming. And sometimes we need to just get off ourselves for a bit to
yes,
allow us to then come back perhaps through a side door or through a different area of life. That is sometimes how that can play out. But
absolutely.
it's a practice. This self-body
And one of the
acceptance.
practices that I use with specifically with this is like I pause, and I'm sure you use this, for yourself as well, but I pause and I ask myself, is this my thought? Or is this what society's told me? Is this what my mom's told me? Sorry, mom, but different time period, different
Yeah.
thoughts, different, the truth is like, and my mom is so supportive of me, but she has really shared in intimate moments. Like it's hard. It's a stretch. I was taught that that wasn't okay, or this wasn't, propriety. Like we had to dress a certain way, be modest in a certain way. If you had a larger frame body, you didn't wear curve fitting or what silhouette hugging clothing. It was just all these rules, like so many rules, like the no white after certain month and the, so many rules. And now we know like that none of that applies. Like none of that is actually true. These are a lot of beauty standards, social norms, conditioning. It's almost cult-like, right?
Yeah.
Over time, that's become, is it your thought? Is it really? Or has it been conditioned into you?
Mhm.
So for a number of years, still to this day, oh, all the time I do that. But for a number of years, I made myself question every thought because that's where you start getting to the meat of it. That's when you start realizing most of them aren't your thoughts. Most of the time, you're like,
Yes.
no, I would think it was beautiful if I saw a girl wearing this dress with my frame. Like you put it yourself in the vernacular and you look at yourself and you go, gosh, that isn't my thought then. That isn't organic to me. That just came up out of, conditioning. So
Yeah. I
reminding yourself
uncovered,
that.
yeah, I uncovered one the other day. I was chatting to someone, I uncovered one the other day, and I'd never thought about it exactly through that questioning, Madonna, which is this even my thought? And it was being a girl in a bigger body. I was taught always get it in black, wear it in black because you look what? Thinner. And
Yeah, yeah, we won't say it. Yeah.
yeah. And I questioned that the other day. Like I laughed at myself and I thought, gosh, for many years I wore black. All the time I'd walk in, I'd see a beautiful dress and I'd go, have you got it in black? I would do that for years, right? And
It's
now,
not even close to our favorite color either.
and
Yeah,
now you
no.
would rarely catch me in black. I've got a few black things, but mostly no, I'm not wearing black now. And I'll buy it not because it's black, because maybe it is in black, but it's not my choice. And I was thinking, through that questioning, like, is that even true? I don't even know if that's true. Like, is it? I don't know. And even the fact that for so many
Yeah,
years, that dampening of that, because I was told you look thinner. So those little subtle ways that, like you say, is this my thought? Is it society's? Is it beauty standards? Is it our mum? And not to, bash our mums and say that, they're, like you said, they're just from a different time era. They've also got patterning that they're working through. But now
oh,
I
mom would
say,
reiterate it. Yeah, for sure. It's harder for
yeah.
them.
Yeah, and it's they're very well-meaning and very loving, but it's up to us now just to question those things and how to, if we're talking about, well, how do I have body acceptance? How do I grow my self-love? These are all the little nuances that we have to have eyes up, ears up. What are those things that are creeping
100%. Yeah.
in? And there's lots of them. But it's this, and no, this is our work, really. It's almost like a little treasure hunt, finding those little things that we have put a rule in place, we have put a belief in place, and a lot of the times it wasn't even ours.
Yeah, beautifully said, Emma. That's so true. Yeah,
That's
just that introspection each time, giving ourselves the grace to say, is this our thought? Is this just something coming up because of social conditioning? Exactly.
yeah,
Give yourself a chance to love yourself. Give yourself a
yeah,
chance by letting those shitty thoughts go, acknowledging them. They live inside you. We don't want to shame ourselves for having them, but just like letting go of a lot of the, fear, fight or flight practices that we don't need to employ anymore, like running from dinosaurs and stuff.
yeah,
We don't need to employ these thought processes anymore. We don't need to apply these. They really have been mechanized, weaponized to divide us and to create a lot of um, feelings of smallness, feelings of less than, feelings of unworthiness, the feelings that really limit us and our movement in the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, hasn't marketing and the beauty industry done a great job of that, dividing us, telling us that we're
Yeah.
less than, you're
Mhm.
that kind of woman, so you can't wear that, or you can't do this, or you can't do that.
Right.
Or the assumptions that are made, which is you're in a bigger body, so you're unhealthy, which just isn't true. Science backs that up every time again. It's just not true. And even,
Yep.
the other day chatting how, someone can be in a bigger body and you go to the doctor and the first thing they prescribe is lose weight. It's like a blanket statement without any investigation. And
Oh,
that's the,
girl, this one's after my heart. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And this is
Yeah.
the constant messaging when we know that it's not that cut and dry. It's not that black and white. And I feel
Hmm.
that's the body confidence and body respect again, starting to uncover that for yourself and say, even if I am in a bigger body, I still can be healthy. I still am healthy. And the different markers that make what is a healthy person. And that's someone with a really jolly disposition with great relationships. That can override many things in
I'm
terms of,
winning. All right.
yeah.
Yes,
Health is not a number on the scale, or it's not a dress size. It is holistic. There's so much more to it than what we've been told to believe, which is try to put us in a box and make us feel that we are less than because we might not be in a size whatever body. So that's a lot of this body confidence, trusting your body and going, I am actually healthy. I know I am. I'll know if there's something up. I can be in a bigger body.
exactly. Yeah, beautifully said, Emma. Yeah,
Mm.
you speak so beautifully in the body
You
confidence
do.
movement. That's
You do,
exactly
my
right.
darling. It's just so empowering, Madonna. This is this work, and I love
Excuse me.
the time that we've spent and the connection, the conversation we have. I find it really empowering, and I feel that's part of this is getting around people who are not fearful, fear based, and in this scared place. They're actually in a mindset of abundance and joy, as opposed to the opposite, which is not good enough, never enough, perfectionism. Let's move over. Let's loosen that grip hold and let's have a little bit more joy here.
And
Because
that's
it's
and that's very much diet culture, just the way you described that, that it's so interesting to me. I'm going to be honest with you,
Mhm.
because I'll meet somebody who is perceivably beauty standard, right? Like is just hits the mark. And and sometimes those women can be some of the most unhappy women, unfortunately, because it's such a hard line they compare themselves against. Where it's almost kind of funny to me. It's like it goes all the way back to my modeling when I was given permission, to be in this bigger frame body at some age, which actually was super empowering, right? I was going to be paid to be a beautiful woman in a larger size body, right? So I'm grateful for that, because maybe it did give me the kickstart of the confident woman that I am now. I'm sure it did.
Mhm. Mhm.
But then you'll see a woman my size presenting in such confidence and loving their life, because they're not comparing themselves against that hard line, against that hard standard, against that. What did you use the term you used, shredding, the other day? It
Oh,
was just like,
shredding.
what a term, shredding. Oh,
Oh,
think about that. Shredding your body, like
shredding.
shredding. It's like, just
Horrible.
doesn't send the right message to my heart. Honestly, we don't. We say like bodybuilders will say that here, like they're gonna shred, but not probably as commonly as I think they say it there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like what message does that send? Let's cut away parts of, because shred, it's cutting parts
Yeah.
of yourself, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a scary message. It's a scary message, and I'm not. Body confidence, body positivity has nothing to do with fitness or healthcare routine or any of that. I'm actually a Pilates certified instructor. So just like yourself, I consider myself somebody who's proactive with my fitness, who's in a larger frame that is actually capable and fit. Um, but that is totally separate to my body positivity and my body confidence. They can always exist within me no matter what's going on with my body, because it will fluctuate throughout my whole life. It
Yes.
already has, right?
Yeah. That's one
So
of the
sorry, I just wanted
biggest,
to clarify that.
no,
Yeah.
that is one of the biggest messages that you have given me, or the biggest gifts you've given me, is that body positivity, body confidence has nothing to do with health. And, I've said quite a bit on the summit. I actually, my work as a transformational coach, I will not be telling or talking about movement or food one bit, because that's got nothing to do with what I teach. And my movement, yes, of course, I'll teach yoga and I teach yoga, but it's got nothing to do apart from the beautiful healing essence of yoga. That is what it's about. It's a philosophy and a practice. And yoga was never even designed as a fitness workout. If you look right back at yoga, that's not even what it's about. So sticking with the philosophy,
Bingo. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it's about. Health is a totally different topic to our body love and body confidence. And that's a great discernment to know.
Yeah, and people, it's a conversation that's initiates on, right, like a post, and I'll usually shut it down and say that's a completely different, portion of platform that I don't work in. It isn't. And I don't talk about any personal routine or anything like that. So there's no reason anybody needs to comment on it or have any sort of opinion on it. Body confidence, body positivity, I know it's hard for people to understand, but it can exist, completely exclusively to fitness and your healthcare routine. So they're two exclusive things. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, my darling Madonna. It has been wonderful chatting with you. Just one last question before I let you go. If you were to give a pearl of wisdom to a woman right now who potentially is struggling with not accepting the body that she is in, what would that one bit of advice be to her?
Oh my goodness. I think that the most tender way that we can always look at ourselves is as our inner child. And so a lot of the body positivity work that I do, or body acceptance, body confidence, is around going and giving tender love and attention to the inner child, the person who was bullied, the person who was neglected, the person that was told they were less than, and extending the love back inside. And so I would say that the first thing to tend to is the inner well, is that inner child standing by the well waiting for you to come and tend to her. and finding her, your maiden, inside of yourself, and tending to her. So that be in meditation, if you need to have some hypnosis practice, something like that to connect back within, sound healing, yoga, extending a practice that connects you to yourself at a deeper level. Yeah,
Beautiful. That's
that's always the
beautiful.
way.
Yeah, and that's accessible too. If anyone hears that, you can literally get on to YouTube or Insight Timer is another app and do one of
Yeah.
those practices. So it's doing a little bit of that healing work to be softly, gently with your inner child. That is beautiful. Great place to start
Mhm.
because a lot of our body confidence and our body acceptance, I believe a lot of us can go back to an earlier us and there was a comment made or a moment decided where we chose that our body wasn't good enough.
Exactly.
We've all got a few pivotal
Yeah.
moments that we can go back and
That
visit
body story.
a
Yeah.
body story. Yeah.
You know how we started retreat with that? My retreat in Byron, because it's specifically around, confidence and body love, is we start with body story. We start with what's the first memory you have of somebody bringing attention to your body? What's the first time you remember being judgmental of yourself and sitting in less than love, right? Like sitting in a place of criticism of
Mm.
your physical form. And
That's
yeah.
a great journal prompt. Us sitting in circle, that was one of the most powerful experiences when we sat in circle as women and verbally spoke out about our body story. Incredibly healing, joyful, tears, laughter, and everything in between. But incredible because often that stayed in our head and in our mind for so many years. We've never actually given it a voice. And the sheer fact that what I experienced that day with you, the sheer fact that I voiced it broke it apart, dissolved it, let it go because that had been,
Absolutely.
sitting in the heart, for such a long time and just freeing it out, powerful. But those of you who are listening to this, that could be a fabulous journal prompt. And then, journal it out. And then once you get with someone safe, or come and join Madonna and I on our retreats. And
Yes,
this
better
is
idea.
this is what we do. We sit in circle and it's incredibly healing and joyful. We sit in circle, but then we go and have a fat old time, don't we, darling?
You're gonna have a good time for sure. We definitely laugh our asses off,
At the
smile a
joy.
lot, and build joy. So much joy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
joy and freedom.
And
Thank
help
you,
each other
Madonna.
move through the bullshit and the old body stories is the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Healing, transformation, joy, full of that, full of that. So, yes,
Chock-full.
yeah. So it's an invitation to join us, an invitation. So, yes, our retreat in Byron in July is up. There is a page. I'll put a link in here that you can come and join us. I haven't quite got the Bali one up yet, but if you're hearing this and going, I want to go to Bali, message Madonna and I, let us know, and we will put your name down ready. Because,
100%.
yeah, I'll build that web page out in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be ready to go. Madonna.
And yeah, perfect. I am so excited for all the work we've got coming up. Yeah.
So exciting. I love you, dear friend. I cannot wait
I
to
love you
do
too.
2 retreats with you in the next 12 months. But thank you, my darling. So excited. I love you more than words can express. Thank you.
Love you so much, babe. Can't wait.